Yeah.
A few questions about Ben White, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Just for a few minutes. He's really taken to that right back role, hasn't he? And especially given that he spent virtually all of last season at centre back and a lot of his time before, are you surprised with how quickly and how well he's adapted to playing that position?
I am. We all believe that he had the qualities to do that, and the most important step probably was for him to believe that he could do it, and him to feel comfortable in that position, and that position could maximize his potential as well, and give him another dimension as a player. The fact that now he can play in various positions, I think it makes him a more complete player, and I think he's very happy with that.
When you bought him, was it ever in your plan that he could play there long term? Yeah. It was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the role that he is playing now, I guess it's especially at Spurs, second half we saw was very, very high, wasn't he? Supporting that front five in quite an interesting way, but he also can go deep and tuck in. Can you talk a bit about what you expect from him specifically in that role, especially those factors?
That he can still be even more versatile, especially in attacking moments, to occupy different spaces. He's played in midfield, so at some stage he could play in those positions, more stucking in midfield. He's got the ability, obviously, in the first phase of the build-up, because he's so composed on the ball, to get the advantages that we want. And in the final third, now he's getting used to that as well, to be more of a threat. And he's picking the right moments to do that, and that adds another way of attacking, another weapon of attacking to the team.
Is that his best position now?
I don't know. We are really happy where he is. Obviously, the way William has been playing makes sense for him to play there, and that doesn't mean that he cannot play as a central defender.
He's coming up against Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, on Sunday, and people talk a lot about Trent and what he's good at and not so good at. But what do you think Ben can learn from a player like him, who's obviously come to the top in that position?
Well, I think it's a very special talent. He's, I don't know, an attacking midfielder, a winger, a midfielder playing as a fullback. I think the way he can threat the opponent, especially with his range of pass, his capabilities to play with both legs, to play inside, to play outside, to play in different zones of the pitch and be so comfortable. And then what he adds, obviously, offensively to the team every year is just difficult to find in that position.
And just one more from me. There's obviously a bit of a vacancy in that England squad now if Carl Walker doesn't come back from injury, for example. Obviously Ben is very much pushing. Two parts to this, I guess. Do you think that he can make that push now and take a vacant spot? And do you think that maybe right side of that back three that Gareth might play with is cut out for him?
I think both. I think Ben will be very comfortable playing the right side of the back three as well as in the middle, I think. Or as a fullback. If you ask me if I believe that he's ready to make that step, the answer is yes, because he's a very confident boy. He gives you absolutely everything. He's always available, and I think he has the courage to play under real pressure.
And finally, Tom. Mikel, with 9 wins in 10 this season, would you call your side mentality monsters yet, as Jurgen Klopp calls his men?
Not yet, because you have to do that for a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, every 3 days, and we haven't done that yet.
And I'll just ask about Gabriel as well. There's obviously been a lot of talk about Gabriel Magalhaes. There's obviously a lot of talk about William Saliba. Just how big a part has Gabriel played in William's form this year, and how much is he helping him, his experience helping him?
Yeah, I don't see central defenders as individuals. I think they are always partnerships, and it has to be an element of chemistry, understanding, and complementing each other. And I think those two, they maximize each other's qualities in a really positive way.
Has Gabriel beefed up a little bit over the summer and strengthened up, or I mean, I know he's got a new haircut, which might just make him look a bit stronger. But is it something you've worked on, making him a bit more physically imposing?
He's really, obviously, he was coming from France, still raw physically, wasn't developed, he wasn't in the muscular tone that obviously we wanted. He's been really disciplined and working really hard to improve that, because he understands the physicality in this league is really demanding, and you see him physically. I think everybody notices a change there.
We've obviously talked about Virgil. How close are we to talking about Gabriel and William in the same breath as Virgil, as that real top?
I think the moment that they win everything that the other two have won, I think is the right moment.
If you win on Sunday, 14 points ahead of Liverpool, it's almost a chance to almost knock them out of contention, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. You've seen a lot of turnovers in this league, and we are making assumptions to do that and to be 14 points clear of them, we have to beat them, and that's going to be a difficult thing to do, and we are really willing to try.
Obviously, a bit of an incentive to open up.
100%, of course. The moment that you get momentum and you are in a good run and you can leave opponents as far as possible, psychologically as well, is really important.
Arsenal's record against Liverpool recently hasn't been great, but I think you touched on it last night. Have players like Jesus and Zinchenko brought a bit of a different mentality coming into these, particularly into these games against the big teams?
Yeah, and that's the next step, and obviously winning against those teams requires yourself individually as a team to be at your best, and as well the level of belief and probably the positive experiences that you had against them to raise that belief, and we've got players now that they've been participating in those matches.
Can I just ask you briefly about William Saliba? Is he as calm off the pitch as he appears to be on the pitch?
To be fair, yes. On his case, it's pretty similar, yes.
Has he surprised you how quickly he's adapted to, after in his first season in the Premier League?
Yes, I was straight away really impressed the first few days after he got back in pre-season, and we could see how much he developed, but obviously to put from training session or friendly matches into this league, that's a completely different task, and get credit to the boy the way he's been handling that situation.
Was there a doubt when he first joined up in summer, was there any doubt that he would be staying here this season?
No.
So you knew straight away?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'll follow up on the Saliba. How close is he to a new deal? Or is he close?
I don't know. Whenever we have something to announce, we will.
Can I just ask, on the belief, can you really truly get the highest level of belief without taking a big scalp, which perhaps there hasn't been that?
Well, I think to win those matches, you really need to believe you can go there and win and compete against those teams. You don't have that component, then you have fear, and fear is the worst enemy, especially against the top teams, because this is what they use a lot of time just to win football matches, and you cannot go with any of that into Sunday's games. The same as we didn't do when we played Spurs a week ago.
So did you sense that sort of fear in the sort of Man City game last year or the Man United game this year, but you didn't quite get over the line?
No, it's not fear, but sometimes how you respond. And obviously against Man City, there were two very different games. One that we played 70 minutes with 10 men and we were 2-0 down already, or the game that we played at home and we were on top of the game, and then we played with 10 men and we ended up losing the game. I think the boys believe that we can play at that level, and it's going to require to play at that level to beat Liverpool.
I know George mentioned Arsene, and you mentioned a few months ago about he was welcome to come back here. Has that got forward at all?
Who?
Arsene. You said about he's welcome to come back. Is there a date?
He's more than welcome to come back.
But there hasn't been any progress.
We are trying, believe me.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.
Down there.
Yeah.